Welcome to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast with your host, Brandon Seigel. I'm a published author, speaker, entrepreneur, and private practice strategist dedicated to transforming the way that healthcare functions. This podcast is all about empowering you to create the change you want to see. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. In this episode, we're talking about building your team's career development pathways. What does growth mean? What does that look like? How do we work with our team to focus on that career development? All these things. So if your best people can't see a future at your practice, they're already planning their exit. So today we're going to change that. And I'm going to say that again. If your best people can't see a future at your practice, they're already looking for their next shift. They're planning their exit. So when we hire people, we want to create their career plan. We want to create what the future looks like in the organization. And it starts with, what do you want your future to be? Let's map out 12 months. Let's map out 24 months. Let's map out 36 months. Let's come up with a 3-year plan. Let's identify the milestones that matter. Because one of the things I talk about is this idea of happiness in the workplace. And as a reminder, the founder of Zappos wrote a book, I think it was called Delivering Happiness. And in this book, he talks about some really incredible principles. And one of the things, my interpretation of this is that in order to really have someone fulfilled in our practice, they must be connected. They must be part of this group. They must be part of something bigger than themselves. The second thing is they must align with purpose. They must actually see a higher reason. It's like there's a mission and vision and purpose way above and beyond just transaction. When they align with that, they're going to be fulfilled. But the third thing, and this is what we stink at, they must see progress. Progress in work, progress in growth, progress in outcomes, progress. Now, everyone thinks when they think progress, it means money. There are people that are able and willing to progress in ways that are more meaningful than money. Sometimes that's learning. Sometimes that's time away from work. Sometimes that's time away from treatment. There's different ways that people value progress. Because I'm going to say it this way. If everything was about monetary progress, then people would be willing to do anything and everything to make more money, and not everyone is. There are people that are willing to take less money to have more time outside of work. And for them, that's progress. So defining progress is really critical. And so as we look at career development, I want you to map your organizational structure. I want you to create movement options, not just vertical, but horizontal. I want you to see how every team member can progress in different ways. And so I always say we start with competency. What is the competency that they must have to work for your organization? And you are going to help them progress in that competency. What are competencies they want to develop? Do they want to become better at clinical? Do they want to learn a new skill? Do they want to learn a new role? Do they want to learn how to develop others? Stop thinking that management and leadership is the only form of development. Some will say, I want to learn how to public speak. Maybe they put on workshops for families, for parents, for patients, for community partners. Some may say, you know what, I love social media. I'd love to learn and develop how to build our brand as a company to our community. And they want to be a community outreach officer. Some people want to become clinical specialists. Some people want to be analytical advisors. Some people want to be something that they've never thought was possible. Build organically ladders that work horizontal versus vertical. Allow each person to develop progress within their goals that align with the greatest good for the group. So by helping that person identify new areas of growth, they're going to contribute to both self-sustaining goals as well as group-sustaining goals. The recognition is this is a partnership. In order for us to get to the next gear, we is greater than I. How do we propel? When I advance, how does that impact we? I literally want you to have that equation. We is greater than I. Embody that. Create that. What does that navigation look like? When we look at strategy 2, I want you to implement quarterly stay interviews with your top performers. I want you to ask them, and this doesn't have to be top performer. This can be anyone, because at the end of the day, top performers give us what we want to hear often, but it's good for us to understand what is navigating and motivating them. But really going into stay interviews with anyone, what keeps them here, what's going to drive them to leave, what are 3 things they want to be part of in a change initiative at our organization. Again, different people can have these stay interviews. What if you had a culture committee? What if the culture committee did your stay interviews? And that culture committee created a funnel of knowledge that created initiatives for culture improvement that did not identify who, because again, we is greater than I. And the culture committee does stay interviews. And in those stay interviews, they put everything from the standpoint of these are areas that will improve us and we and how. Now, if something comes up that an I is not being supported and therefore it's reducing we, that's an independent initiative that goes to HR. And that goes from the standpoint of how do we support I to better support we. But in these stay interviews, we're building a culture initiative. And we are going to come up with 10 initiatives from that. And maybe it's every quarter we vote on 3 initiatives of the 10. As a group, we will vote on 3. And they will become our focal point for the next quarter. And maybe it's this. We're going to budget $5,000 every quarter in culture initiatives that improve the bottom line of we. How are we advancing and enhancing? And we is not just the people. We is the business algorithm. We is the algorithm that fuels all financial capability as an organization. The more capable we are, the more we can serve. Serve internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. We is not just internal, we is external as well. So, strategy number 3, are you ready? You're going to create skill-based progression bands that allow for growth initiatives without title changes, recognizing expert can grow within. So, hey, you're going to build skill-based learning, knowledge-based learning, and contribute. And here's the deal. We're going to tie our initiatives to earning bonuses to acknowledge change. And one of the things I want you to think about, everyone thinks of bonuses as an incentive. I believe bonuses now need to be acknowledgments. I believe we create pay in which we set people up for success, meaning that if they follow the course of our progression, they will be successful automatically. And when they are successful, we will acknowledge the success with a bonus. When you grow to this next competency, here's your bonus. Not a wage increase. Wages are connected automatically to the job at hand. And the only time that wage goes up is either when function goes up and function correlates to generally more revenue. But everything else is a bonus-based acknowledgement. You get a bonus for retention. You get a bonus for competency upgrade. You get a bonus for completing an initiative that you didn't have to complete. It's an acknowledgement. So that when someone says, you don't value me, it's yes, I do. Your wage is driven to work. Your bonus is acknowledging what has been completed. And sometimes you won't have it because you weren't able to complete what was necessary for that acknowledgement, and that's okay. Finding others how they feel development should be is also critical. Recognizing that when we create a development culture, development is about progress, not about necessarily money. So every day, like we think of self-help. Self-help is about self-improvement. We want to create improvement as a group. And sometimes individual improvement leads to team improvement. And so I'm giving you this call to action. I want you to schedule your first stay interview. I want you to have 5 questions. I want it to take 20 minutes. And I truly believe it could save you a $30,000 replacement cost. And here are some examples of stay questions. So I'll pretend that I'm talking to Brandon. Brandon, I really value your feedback. And one of the things that we are working on as a culture committee is creating initiatives that drive positive change for our community. And that we are looking to better serve both our internal stakeholders like you, as well as our external stakeholders like our private partners that refer us business and our patients, etc. So my first question for you is, what was the one defining factor that motivated you to accept a role at our company? So that's question 1. Question 2, have we fulfilled what that factor was for you yet? And if not, what changes need to be made to fulfill that factor? Those are 2 questions. Question number 3. If I gave you a magic paintbrush and you had to paint a picture of one change you want to see in 30 days, what's that picture? What are we changing? What do we have control to change? So I want to be clear. When you have a paintbrush, it means that you have control to change something. Question number 3. Question number 4. What is one factor that would drive you to seek out new employment in the next 6 months? Again, what is one factor that would drive you to seek out new employment in the next 6 months? And my final 5th question for you. What can I do to guarantee your employment retention for the next 5 years? What requirements should I be aware of to retain you for the next 5 years? Those are just examples, all focused on retention and culture viewpoint, factors that are influencing the way that they do it. And through that, development will come. Let them organically bring the role of development to the table. We develop for others to feel progress, to change the trajectory of our company, that our team is progressing as a whole. So I want you to recognize that people don't leave practices. They leave when they can't see where they're going. We must invest in a future that is bright for everyone. Sometimes what we do is we share doom and gloom in order to protect ourselves from giving raises. The reality of the environment has to be complemented with a vision for the future. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. Don't forget, like us, subscribe, share us with other practice owners. Write a review that can help us more than you know. If you love this podcast, reach out. If you're looking for support in medical billing, fractional HR, or want to learn more about our growth groups or our conferences, reach out. info@wellnessworksmp.com. Don't forget, together we can thrive, not just survive. Thank you for tuning in to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. Exciting news. We're now available everywhere, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to YouTube or anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts. So watch, listen, and reach out. If you loved this episode, please drop a 5-star review. It truly means the world to me. Are you looking for more ways to elevate your practice? If so, now is your chance. Reach out, go to my website, or email me at brandon@wellnessworksmp.com. And remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.